control. We get a move. We could be taking control. We get a move. We could be taking control. We can be taking control.
All right. Really good. It's a great moment to start. It's so great that all of you are ready and now you are watching this video. Welcome to our science class. I hope that you get ready with your book. Remember that today in our class we're gonna work in the new topic about the animal diversity. Okay, so let's get ready and let's go. Now I'm going to activate my PowerPoint presentation. Remember, I'm going to leave this slideshow presentation in the platform, Google Classroom. As well, I'm going to send the file through our WhatsApp group. Remember that if you want a copy of this and you are new in my channel, you can get it just by sending an email to the Gmail that I'm going to post over there in the comments section. All right, all my slideshows are for free. You can use them as you want. Now it's moment to start. For all the students of my classroom, remember, as I told you, you are going to work in the page number 72. So go search your book in the page 72 because we're going to work over there. Now I'm going to prepare with this and fix it so I can show it on the screen. All right. Right, now we are ready. We're going to speak about the animal diversity and how our world is full of different kind of animals, right? So the animals are only one of the kind of living things that exist in this world because we have a lot of different microorganisms. We have the mushrooms as an example of living organisms. We have plants, but now we want to focus basically in the animals. And let me tell you that we are going to take a long time speaking about them because the classifications that they can have, the diversity that we have, the different kind of animals that we have, it's really wide, and that means that we have to study a long time if we want to understand the different characteristics that make that one animal can be classified in one group and another animal in a different group. That will depend always in the characteristics that they have and how we can classify them. So let's get started. The animals can be classified according. This is the classification that I'm going to give, right? And the book classifies like that, but remember the science, it's every day moving forward, and maybe in the future there are going new classifications or animals are going to be classified in new different kind of elements. But now, actually, this year, this millennium, the animals are classified like this by the environment they live, for its ability to cause illness because of the complexity of their body, by the food they eat. The animals are heterotrophs because for now, between the animals, we cannot find organisms that can produce their own food like the plants. That's a big advantage the plants have. They can produce their own food. by just using the sunlight, but the animals, nope. We have to hunt for food. We must get our nutrients and vitamins and proteins and whatever we need from other living organisms. For the digestion process, by the number of legs, by the active day, and by the way of reproduction. Well, let me speak about by the environment they live. According that, they are classified by the environment in different forms. We can speak that an animal is classified according the place it lives. If that animal walks on the land, it's going to be a land animal, a terrestrial animal. If that animal moves in the water, it's going to be an aquatic animal, a marine animal, or if it's from the river, or if it's from a pond, or it lives in the ocean, depending anywhere it lives, it's going to be classified according to the place it lives. Now, the living organisms, the animals, can be classified for the ability to cause illness. Okay, there are organisms in the animal kingdom that cause illnesses. Okay, we have a lot of them. For example, just to give a short example, we are going to speak about them later. But the head lice, if they are over there and then they start to feed from your blood, and then you can start to have problems in your blood, in your body. Other organisms like the Taenia, for example, it goes inside your intestines and it starts to feed from you. It's a parasite. So that classification, according the ability of that organism to cause illness, it's part of that. Now, because of the complexity of their body, if they are simple organisms, they are classified in one form. Now, if they are more complex organisms, they have a different classification. As I told you, by the food they eat, they could be heterotrophs. As I repeat again, they need to get, well, we need to get our food from other sources because we cannot produce our own food. Look at this little body. He's having a lot of fun over there, right? Look at that. Looks so beautiful. Look at that. He's very hungry, huh? As I'm hungry right now. Okay, let's continue speaking about other characteristic for the digestion process. Look, this is very important and I want to focus a little bit in that. According the digestive process of the herbivore animals, they have two different classifications. We are going to speak more about that later, but they can have different classification according to that because there are simple structures of the digestive system in herbivores, and there are more complex structures. Even there are animals with more than one stomach. Listen that. Imagine they must eat a lot. And of course they do. Now, F, by the number of legs. Yeah, by the number of legs. If they have 2 legs, 4 legs, or even more of 4. Are there animals with more than 4 legs? Yes, they do. But we will see that later. By the active day, if they're active in the morning or if they're active at night or even in the twilight, between the morning, between the day and between the night, that moment between when the dawn is coming, when the twilight time is over there are animals that are more active in that moment. So depending on that, they have a classification. And to finish this fast introduction, by the way of reproduction. Yep, exactly. Depending on the way they have their reproduction, they can be classified in different forms: oviparous, viviparous, and well, there are a lot of different classifications that we're going to speak about that in a while. Okay, so after all this, let's continue with the next slideshow. I want to focus now and speak more about the classification of the animals by the environment they live, according to the environment where they live. Now, if the animals live on the land, they are terrestrial. Can I give example of terrestrial animals? I'm sure that you can give a lot of examples. Try to think over there at home, example of animals that are land animals or terrestrial animals. of course, I will give you my examples: dog, cat, hen. Well, I said the basics because we have that at home, most of us, right? But there are more. Other example of terrestrial or land animals: the elephant, the rhinoceros, the lion, the cheetah, the zebra, the horse, the donkey, cow. Oof, there are a lot of options, right? And I'm sure that you are thinking right now at home in more examples. Now, only terrestrial animals, according the place they live, we can say only terrestrial animals. No, no, no. There are more. For example, the aerial animals. Those are the animals that can fly. Okay. For example, the dove, the parrots, even some insects like the butterfly, the fly, the mosquito. So all the animals that can fly are aerial animals. Remember, not only the birds, the insects too. Aerial animals, it covers all the kind of animals, all of them, not only the birds. All the animals that can fly are classified in aerial. Okay, now the amniote. Amniote animals, that's a special classification between the aerial animals. All right, that is a special classification. The aerial animal cover insects and birds, but the amniote is this classification. It's only about the animals that can fly and that they lay eggs, and they put those eggs in a nest in a tree. Okay, so which animals produce nests in the trees? The doves, the parrots, there are a lot of different animals that produce nests on the trees. Okay, remember, if you have some words that you don't know, or you don't understand the meaning, I'm going to give you a glossary or vocabulary the next time. Okay, next time I'm going to, in the platform, I'm going to upload a vocabulary to help you. Now, after the amniote, we have the amphibians. Amphibians are animals that can live in both places, water or in the land. How is that possible? Okay, there are animals that can live in both places at the same time, like the salamander. Okay, they can swim in the water, and then they can go outside and walk outside over the land. And there are other animals that are amphibians that in some period of their lives they live on the water, in the water, and then they start to walk on the land. How is that possible? One example: the frog. The frog is a clear example for that. When they are babies, the tadpoles, the little babies, the tadpoles are on the water, and then when they start to grow, they go outside of the water when they become adult frogs. So there are a lot of different kind of amphibian animals, but basically the characteristic that will define an amphibian is that they live in both places, on the water and on the land. Maybe in some part of their lives they live on the water, but then when they grow up, they live on the land, or they live in both places at the same time. Let's move on. The aquatic animals. Those are the animals that live underwater, like the fish, like the shark, and all the animals that live on the water. Remember, the classification aquatic is for animals that only live in the water. They cannot live outside. For example, last time I was asking a kid an example of aquatic animal, and he told me the alligator. And then I said, well, some alligators or crocodiles, they live in the water, right? And they hunt for food in the water, but they can walk outside of the water. So no, the aquatic animals are those that they live only on the water, underwater, like the whale, the shark, between others. Okay? Now, the parasites. The parasites are those kind of living organisms that feed on other living organisms. For example, the headlight, the leech, the bed bug, and many other animals that they live just by eating other organisms. Another example of parasite is the mosquito. Terrible parasite. The mosquitoes are all the time stinging your skin, eating your blood, and eating blood or drinking blood from other different animals that they can find. Okay, so by the environment they live, the animals could be aerial, terrestrial, amphibians, aquatic, parasites, amniotes, and that is the classification in that point, right? Now, the animals can be classified according their ability to cause illness. Okay, according the ability to cause illness. We saw that in the first page, right? Now, let's see. Pathogenic. For the ability to cause illness, they could be classified in pathogenic and non-pathogenic. Okay, the pathogenic organisms are those that can cause a disease in the animal that they are living. For example, the mosquito is a clear example. It's a parasite that can cause disease in a person, like malaria, for example, the dengue, between other diseases that they can cause. If we are not careful with them, they can cause terrible diseases and even death in people. So if an organism can produce a disease in another animal, it's called pathogenic. And if no, it's called non-pathogenic. Okay? There are what happened with the non-pathogenic organisms? Sometimes they are necessary for us. Just let me give you an example, not with an animal. I'm not going to use animals for this example. I'm going to use the example of the bacteria. There are some of them that are very necessary in our body to extract nutrients or to destroy elements in the food that we are ingesting that we cannot absorb by ourselves. We need the help of some bacteria. So, of course, there are animals and there are bacteria and there are organisms that exist in this world that are necessary for us. We can work together. But that is another topic. That is a topic about the relation between organisms, commensalism, parasitism. We will talk about that in another video. Now, letter C. Because of the complexity of their body, the animals can be classified because of the complexity of their body in unicellular, when they have only one cell, when they are compound of only one cell. Okay? And remember that they belong to, this is kind of like a little bit confusing, because if we see the classification, right now we are speaking about the animal kingdom, but we saw the classification before that all the living organisms are classified in 5 or 6 kingdoms, according to the country, according the theories, and the classification of the bacteria, it's in another kingdom, not in the animal kingdom. But we can speak about the classification of that of the animals more in multicellular. Okay, we can focus more in multicellular. There are unicellular organisms, yes, thousands. Okay, but most of the animals that exist are multicellular. And that is one of the most important characteristics of the animals that we see around there. All the animals that you can see with your naked eye are multicellular. All of them. Because the unicellular organisms are smaller. They are smaller. Now, there are stages in the life of an organism in which they are unicellular. A clear example of an organism that is unicellular and then becomes multicellular is the hen. The hen produces an egg. Inside the egg, the only thing that you can find, I'm sure that you already opened eggs, and inside that egg you are going to find only a yellow part and a white part, and this small yellow part and that white part, that's basically one cell. Yeah, when we are eating eggs, we are eating one cell. It's an example of a visible cell. Yes, it's only one cell. Then that cell, that unicellular organism, will grow and multiply in becoming in the small chick that will become in a chicken in the future, or hen, or rooster, or whatever. But that's the point. Some organisms can be unicellular at the beginning of their lives, and then we become multicellular. Okay, now speaking about multicellular organisms, yeah, let's speak about them. They are more complex. Between the multicellular organisms, we have the vertebrates and the invertebrates. Vertebrates and invertebrates. Okay, both of them are around there. The invertebrate animals are those that don't have bones. They don't have backbones. And the vertebrate animals are those that have backbones. Backbones are those bones that are in our skeleton, inside of us. Example of invertebrate animals? Yeah, invertebrate animals. The squid, the octopus, the small some snails. Maybe you say, no, Mister, but the snail have a shell. Well, remember that shell is not a bone. It's hard like a bone, but it's not a bone. So we consider that animal, the snail, as an invertebrate animal. Okay. Now, vertebrate animals, more examples, even more. The cheetah, as in the picture, the elephant, the giraffe, the zebra, the horse, the lion, the tiger, the people. We are classified as animals according to science. So according to science, we are vertebrate animals. Okay, great. Now, by the food they eat, the animals can be carnivores, herbivores, insectivores, frugivores, omnivores, detritivores, and hematophagous. Maybe you say, Mr. Salmeron, what are you speaking about? What are you saying? What is that? Hold on. Let's start with the carnivore animals. The carnivore animals are those that feed on meat. Okay, those that only exclusively feed on meat. Anything else. They don't eat plants, they don't eat fruits, vegetables, anything else. Just meat. Example, the lion, the tiger, and all those animals that are very attractive for us when we go to a zoo, because they are very aggressive and they are predators. Okay, so the carnivore animals are those that feed only on meat and they don't eat anything else, just meat. And of course they drink water, but we're speaking about food. Now, the herbivore animals are those that feed exclusively on plants, like the zebra, the cow, the horse, the zebra, and all those animals that feed only in plants. Plants like fruits, vegetables, leaves, and other small plants. Okay? And now we have the insectivore animals, are those that feed only on insects. They don't eat meat, nor plants or fruits. No, only insects. We have a clear example of that with the spider. The spider feeds on insects. The centipede is another clear example. And there are more. There are more examples of animals that feed only on insects. Now then we have the frugivores, animals that feed only on fruits and vegetables. Anything else, they eat fruits. If we search, for example, we have a special kind of bat, and we are going to speak about him later. There is a bat that is called the fox bat. It's beautiful. It's nice. The fox bat. I really like it. It has a nice face. It looks so cute. But the fox bat, it's a kind of bat that feeds only on fruits. He cannot eat anything else. Even he doesn't eat vegetables or leaves. He only feeds from fruits. And you will see a picture from this animal later. The frugivore animals are those that just feed on fruits and they don't eat anything else. Omnivore, well, we are over there. The omnivore animals are those that eat only everything. Only, no, everything. The omnivores are those that feed on meat and plants, both things, fruits, vegetables, anything. For example, not only the people is like that. We have other animals. For example, the pig. The pig is an example of animal that became omnivore for our agriculture because we changed their lifestyle. The wildlife in the forest, we changed that for our farms, and now we made that these animals adapted to different kind of foods. The other example of omnivore animal are the hens. They can eat whatever you throw them. If you want to feed your hens with chicken, they're going to eat the chicken. If you feed them with corn, they're going to eat the corn, rice, beans. If you throw meat on them, they're going to eat it. If you throw insects to the hens, they are going to eat them. They really like the insects and even small animals. I've seen hens eating small frogs when they are babies, when they're really small, because when they are tadpoles, they grow more and then they become small frogs. And I saw hens eating small frogs. It's very interesting. Now, the treativores are those that, well, maybe some of you will say, no, mister, I don't like that animal. The treativores are the animals that feed on dead or decomposed animals. There are a lot of the treativores. Between the treativores, we have the scavengers too. Well, I'm going to speak about the scavengers. The scavengers are animals that search dead animals and they feed on them. For example, the hyena. The hyena feed on dead parts of an animal. Or if an animal is dying, they wait until that animal is weak and then they kill it. They take all the pieces of the food and then they start to eat it. The treativores animals, another scavenger, it's the vulture. The vulture, it's a bird, and it goes, and when the vultures see that an animal is dead, they start to fly and fly around the animal, and then they start to eat that animal, dead animal, of course. Now, the scavengers are animals that eat other animals that are dead, but there are more complex organisms. There are the treativores like the ants that they decompose the animal, even the animal finish only the bones. We have the flies, for example. The flies they lay eggs in the dead animals, and then those eggs open, and then the flies have their babies, and those babies are larvae, the small worms that start to eat the dead organism. Interesting. And of course, there are more detritivores, even bacteria that are detritivores. There are bacteria that decompose the dead organism until the dead organism becomes again in another nutrient. For example, nitrogen or other nutrient for the soil. So detritivores are nasty for some people, but they are extremely important. Without the job of the detritivores, we will have in our world a lot of dead bodies. So they are very important. And to finish the animals by the food they eat, we have the hematophagus. The hematophagus, I wanted to add them. That is not in the book. You will see that in the book you don't find the detritivores nor hematophagus, but I included them because they're important. The hematophagus are animals that feed on blood. Yes, they feed on blood. What animals can feed on blood? Well, we're going to see some examples later. The lamprey. This is a kind of fish that with those teeth that you can see over there attaches to the animal and oh my god, it starts to extract the blood from the fish or the animal that it's attached to. Yeah, the lamprey is a real animal. Yes, and it's very aggressive. When I see it, I say, "Oh my goodness! I don't want to go swim and find with one of these animals." Now we have other animals. The leech, as we call it in Honduras, sanguijuelas, babosas. Yeah, this animal attaches to the skin, and the saliva of the leech creates a kind of anesthetic process, and we don't feel the pain of the small teeth penetrating in our skin. But when we want to see and when we realize that we have something, it's too late. They are already pumping out and extracting blood from you and feeding and growing. Yeah. So to take them out, it's terrible because you start to bleed, your blood starts to flow out. But they are animals, they are part of our nature, and we must respect them. My respect to the hematophagus animals. There are more hematophagus animals, like the bedbug, as we call it in Honduras, the bedbug chinche. That animal is terrible for us. Alright, for the digestion process, it's another classification that we can do with the animals. For example, the digestion process, we classify for the digestion process only the herbivores, okay? Only the herbivores animals are classified according to the digestion process. And we have basically these two animals, the ruminants and the simple stomach animals. These are the two kind of animals, okay? According their digestion. The ruminants are those animals that, as we said in easy words, that have complex stomachs. I don't know if you heard some people saying the cows have 4 stomachs. Well, something like that. They have 4 chambers that work in a very special way when they are chewing their food, like the grass or any other kind of leaves. That goes through the esophagus to different chambers. Okay, there are basically 4 chambers. We have reticulum, we have the omasum, we have the abomasum, and the rumen. These 4 chambers are like 4 stomachs that have different processes with the food that they are ingesting. Remember that breaking down the grass and the leaves into food is not an easy process. Try one day to take leaves and branches and grass, chew it, and see if you can have a good digestion. Of course, we cannot. They can, because the food that they ingest goes into 4 different processes until it's completely digested, and it can go to the intestine to finally extract the nutrients that they need. So the ruminant animals are all those that you see eating grass like this. The horse, the donkey, the goat, the cow, all those animals that eat like that are ruminants. And now we have the simple stomach animals, or the simple stomach herbivores, that are those that have a simple monogastric digestive tract. We say it in easy words: the animals that have only one stomach. Easy, okay? The pig is an example that he has only here one stomach and one simple digestive system. Remember something important: the pigs that we have in our farms, they are not herbivores, but they were naturally herbivores. We changed their lifestyle to adapt it to our needs, but in the beginning they were herbivores. To be more specific, I'm going to speak about all this process. The rumen here, when the cow first chews and swallows a mouthful of grass, boluses, green arrows, enter the rumen. The first place when the cow is eating goes to the rumen, and then from the rumen moves now to the next chamber, that is the reticulum. Some boluses enter in the reticulum in both of the rumen and the reticulum. Symbiotic prokaryotes and protists, some are ciliates, go to work on the cellulose-rich meal. And then we have another process here happening. Then we have the omasum. The cow then re-swallows the cud, the blue arrows, which moves to the omasum, where the water is removed. Because remember that the plants that they ingest are full of water, plus the saliva of the cow. So most of that water is extracted of the bowls of food that they have. And then we have the next movement to the abomasum. In the abomasum, the cud, containing great number of microorganisms, finally passes to the abomasum for digestion by the cow's own enzymes, and then it moves to the intestine, and that's it. The process is very complex. When we see cows eating all day long, we never think that their body is doing a big work to digest all the food that they are eating. So remember, the herbivore animals can be classified according their digestion process in ruminants and by simple stomach. Now let's speak about the number of legs. The animals can be classified according the number of legs that they have. Yeah, if they have 2 legs, they are bipeds. Wow, I think that picture is not correct. No, let's put an X on that. The horse is not biped. No. The horse, no. But yeah, the rooster. Yeah, the rooster is biped. The hen, the chicken, the people. Yeah, we are bipeds. Bipeds are those animals that walk in 2 feet, right? Now we have the 4-legged or quadruped animals, those that walk in 4 legs. If I ask you example of bipeds, remember, bipeds: the hen, the chicken, rooster, the people, the kangaroo. If I ask you example of 4-legged or quadruped animals, the rabbit, the horse, the dog, the cat, and any more. Now the polypods are those animals that have more than 4 legs. For example, the starfish, as you can see over there, the starfish has 5 limbs, and each limb has cilia. Cilia, it's like a lot of microscopic, well, not microscopic, but very small legs that they flow like this to make the starfish move. Okay, the starfish are not like Patricio from SpongeBob, no. Because Patricio walks in 2 feet. No, that's a cartoon. The real starfish are like this. They have their 5 limbs, and under the limbs they have cilia that helps them to move slowly. And we have another polypod here. What a beautiful insect. This is a centipede. The centipede it has almost 100 feet. Remember, they don't have exactly 100. No, each centipede has a different amount of legs or limbs. They could have 89, 95, 96. No, they have different amounts of legs. They don't have exactly the same amount of legs. And maybe you're saying now, Mister, I never seen a centipede like that. That's huge. Yes, there are giant centipedes. Now, there's another classification for the animals by the active day. The animals can be diurnal when they are active in the morning, like the people, for example, the donkey, the cat, the dog. But well, the cat sometimes is very inactive, and you see the cat sleeping a lot of times during the day. But that is because they need to sleep a long period of time. And there is a culture of people there that's a belief. It's a belief of people that say when the dogs are sleeping in the morning is because they were taking care of the house at night. That can be true, but well, the dogs need to take a nap sometimes. Now, the donkey is diurnal. Now, nocturnal. An example are the bats. And I told you that I was going to show you a picture of a fox bat. Look at that beautiful thing. It's not that's beautiful. Remember that there are different kind of bats. There are bats that feed in blood. They are like vampires. Yeah, but there are other bats like this one that are herbivores. They feed, well, they are not herbivores. They are frugivores because they eat only fruits. This little baby is eating grape. Okay, they like the grapes. They like the strawberry or any kind of fruit that they can enjoy. Now, nocturnal animals, they are active at night. Diurnal animals are active in the morning. Now let's speak about the twilight animals like the anteater. The twilight animals are more active in those moments between the morning, the afternoon, and the night. Okay, the twilight, they are active in the dawn when the night becomes. Okay, look at this. Oh, look at this beautiful anteater. He was sleeping, and the man is trying to wake him up. But no, they're more active in that moment during the twilight. Now, another classification, and is the final one. Classification by the way of reproduction. Yep, by the way of reproduction. Okay, by the way of reproduction, the animals can be oviparous or viviparous. Okay, the oviparous animals are those that produce eggs, and then from the eggs, the babies start to grow. The viviparous animals, oh, so beautiful, are those that produce the babies, but they grow in the womb. Okay? Remember that important word. If you don't know it, go search it in Google Translator. Womb. Okay? They grow in the womb of the mother, and then the mother has the babies. That example is the cat, the dog, the pig, even the people. We are viviparous, right? Oviparous are those animals that lay eggs, and from the eggs we have the babies. There are different kind of oviparous. Okay, for example, we have the birds, the snake, and the fish. The birds, the eggs, the shell of the eggs is hard, and they lay the eggs and take care of the eggs until the babies grow. Now the snakes produce eggs. The same for the iguana, the lizard, the crocodiles. But then we have other like the fish. The way is very different. They throw the eggs, and the eggs grow in the water, not inside the fish. That's the opposite way of the iguana, for example, because the iguana has the eggs but inside of her, and then the eggs appear outside and the little iguana babies starts to grow. So there are different animals that are oviparous, not only the birds. Okay, most of the reptiles are oviparous, like the snake, the crocodile, the lizard, the iguana. And another oviparous animal is the fish. So remember, not only the birds are oviparous. Now we are done. Let's see. Our stream from today has 45 minutes. Okay, but there's no problem. Our class today is of 2 hours. But we are not going to be here speaking during 2 hours, right? You're gonna see the video and now you're going to do these activities. Okay, activity number 1, make a list in your notebook writing 3 animals from each kind. Okay, so you are going to write 3 examples of the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Maybe you're going to say, I don't understand. Oh, don't worry, I'm going to explain you, okay? I'm going to explain that. Okay, for example, you're going to do it like this. The animals can be classified by the environment they live. Okay, now give me 3 examples of terrestrial. Okay, that's the first point. That's the first moment that you're going to start. Terrestrial, 3 examples. Elephant, another, the dog, another, the tiger. Yeah, ready, you have 3 examples. Now, 3 examples of aerial animals. The butterfly, the fly, the crows, and flamingo. There are more examples, right? And you can go like that. You have to do 3 examples of each one of all the ones that we saw. Okay, 3 examples of terrestrial animals, 3 examples of aerial animals, 3 examples of amphibian animals, 3 examples of aquatic animals, 3 examples of parasites, 3 examples of amniote. Then, for its ability to cause illness, 3 examples of pathogenic organisms, 3 examples of non-pathogenic organisms, and then you continue. Because of the complexity of their body, 3 examples of unicellular organisms, 3 examples of multicellular organisms. By the food they eat, 3 examples of herbivores, 3 examples of carnivores, 3 examples of detritivores, 3 examples of omnivores, 3 examples of frugivores, and like that until you finish all the different classifications. Okay, this activity is very long, so you're going to take a long time. If you can finish during the period of time of the class, great. If you finish during the second hour, great. But if you don't finish, don't worry. You have time to send me that in the next date that I'm going to post in Google Classroom. Alright? I'm going to post over there in the platform when you are going to give it to me if you cannot send it today. I will give you more time, alright? Now, the second activity. In the second activity, you're going to access that link, okay? The link that I gave you over there. Puzzle Factory. Okay, now, in that link, you're going to see a game that is a puzzle. It will be in the description of this video, and I will post it in Google Classroom too. Solve the puzzle and send me a text message on WhatsApp saying the following: the name of those animals, the classification that they have according all the factors studied in class. Okay, now I'm going to show you the example so you can understand. Okay, this is the picture of the game that you're going to play. There are 2 animals here. I'm not going to say the names. You must know which are the names. In WhatsApp, you are going to send me that. You will go there to WhatsApp and you will write, okay, mister, the animals are polar bear. And then you're going to tell me everything about the polar bear. You will tell me if the polar bear is terrestrial or aerial. You will say for the ability to cause illness, if it's pathogenic or non-pathogenic, because of the complexity of the body, if the polar bear is unicellular or multicellular. You are going to tell me if by the food the polar bear is herbivore or carnivore or detritivore or omnivore. You are going to tell me if the polar bear by the number of legs is biped, quadruped, or polypod. You will tell me if the polar bear by the active day is diurnal, nocturnal, or twilight. You are going to tell me if by the way of reproduction is oviparous or viviparous, and like that. Okay, you're going to tell me the characteristics. You don't need to give me all the characteristics, okay? You just have to give me the characteristics that you find. Okay, if you find only 2 or 3, that's great. You don't need to give me all the characteristics, just the characteristics that you want to give me. But remember that there are 2 animals. Okay, I said the polar bear. I already said the name of the polar bear, but there are other animals over there. Up, you have to investigate the name of that animal. A clue, I said the name of that animal, but well, you can search it. Well, how you are going to play the game? Easy, extremely easy. Just click on play, and you have to put all the puzzle pieces here in place. It will take a long period of time, but the good point is that you have the picture over there in the background, so it will be easier for you. I think that I have one piece over here. Okay, but I cannot do it now because I'm not going to finish. There are a lot of different puzzles that you can try to solve. There's another here. I really like it. This is from Penguins. But the one that I gave you is this one. The link will be in the video and I will post it in the platform. Okay, so play this, try to do the puzzle. If you solve it, you can take a picture and send it to WhatsApp, because it means that you are very intelligent and you're very active if you can do it. Okay? If you cannot solve it, don't worry. It's only a game. The important point is that you send me the name of the 2 animals that appear over here, and that you tell me if they are in different classifications. That's the most important point that I need from you. Okay? Well, now those are the only activities, and we are already done. We already finished. We already finished. It was a great pleasure to share this time with you, and please like and subscribe so fast, like this snail. Okay, and remember that we will stay active. Any question you can ask me over there, and I will be answering all your questions through WhatsApp or in the platform. Behave good. And remember, this is Mr. Salmeron HN. Like and subscribe.
Try to believe in anything greater than a miracle. It wouldn't be this difficult if we try to be a negative bull. Yeah, we could be taking control. Yeah, if we try to believe in anything greater than a miracle.